What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Information Society. Thank you again to Herman for providing the material, and as I mentioned I think last time, I'm just going to kind of jump around this larger folder and pick titles that stand out to me. I perhaps will react to their cover of Don't You Want Me sooner rather than later, but for this time I chose Tomorrow the World, which sounds like the second part of a phrase along the lines of, today the city, or today my life, tomorrow the world. The idea of taking control of or affecting some smaller situation first, and then having done so, scaling up and conquering or tackling or approaching the world at large. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is part of a larger expression. And if it's as optimistic as the title sounds, then I would hypothesize it's about self-affirmation, or the idea of instilling a conviction in yourself that what you're striving for is in fact possible. So it sounds hopeful on the surface. Of course it might play out differently in practice. Let's give it a listen. This is Information Society. The track is Tomorrow the World, and it's included in a large folder of Information Society tunes provided by a great friend of the channel, Herman.
Why can't you see what you can do to me? Why can't you see that all this is new to me? The way that I feel holding you, girl. Tonight your heart, tomorrow the world. The words that I speak seem like so much to me. Look in your eyes, there is so much to see. I'll take the eloquence of your sweet decadence. To hell with the consequence. Follow what may. Just realize that this doesn't have to be beginning in joy and ending in misery. Forgetting excuses, the words have their uses. The struggle and chooses to live today. Why can't you see what you can do to me? Why can't you see that all this is new to me? The way that I feel holding you, girl. Tonight your heart, tomorrow the memories are enemies, far from reality. Send them packing. Fantasies fighting with me, use up my time with me. I'm just asking. Why can't you see what you can do to me? Tonight your heart, tomorrow the world.
A shorter one, if that is the end. Yeah, I want to say like maybe 3.5 minutes. In fact, just over 3. So yeah, a shorter tune. I like the moment it started, I was like, oh, this sounds like a Depeche Mode Martin Gore-sung, specifically one where he would be singing, and it had that vocals right in the front, sort of isolated, like emotional ballad type of sound. And I was even thinking like what I caught of the lyrics reminded me a bit of an Andy Bell song, like an Erasure song, in terms of the like, speaking to a complicated emotional situation. Of course, Martin Gore songs do that as well, but yeah, it reminded me of like an Andy Bell written, Martin Gore sung type of tune. But then once it got more kinetic and a bit edgier in terms of the sonics, it really did remind me of a Depeche Mode track, though again, one with maybe Gore on vocals instead of Gone. But yes, ultimately, it sounds like it's well, first of all, it does have the like, tonight your heart, tomorrow the world, the idea that like if they could just figure this out, if they can just have this night together, then there's more on offer for them, or at least for the narrator. He does seem to suggest that like, he's under the spell of this person, that this girl, like, the way she speaks or what she says, it, like, you don't know what it does to me, you don't know how it makes me feel. But it sounds like he's also saying, like, sure, we can indulge in fantasy and so on, so that, he's flexible in terms of what this is or what this will be, but it sounds like he wants some sort of connection, some sort of intimacy, and if that is possible, if he can get to her heart, well, then anything's possible. We can conquer the world tomorrow, or I can conquer the world if I'm just able to get you in this emotional context. But yeah, I enjoy the like the string synths and the like harmonium kind of sound of the first minute or so, but I especially like the back half of the tune when it gets a bit more percussive and I wouldn't say it has like industrial sonics, but it did get a bit edgier, a bit heavier as the tune went along, and it became a bit more kinetic. So yeah, I like the sequencing of the tune as well. I think he does have good vocals. I'm forgetting the lead vocalist's name. I can picture him perfectly now because seeing him in that video, he had a very like eccentric haircut, and someone I think even mentioned that he's sort of like known for that. Like, who was it? Oh, I forget who it is, but someone mentioned it's almost like he has like three haircuts at the same time, and I do get that, I do see that. But again, it's in that like cool, like eccentric 80s sort of vein. So yeah, the 80s were an amazing time musically, aesthetically, and in terms of like personal fashion presentation. But yeah, definitely like the least dance floor of the tunes of theirs I've heard so far. Like, again, it starts as a like real ballad like tune, and even though it does get a bit more kinetic and energetic, it's not quite what you would call like a dance floor groover. It's more like the heaviness, the weight of the song emotionally begins to pick up momentum, inertia, sonically. But yeah, I wouldn't describe this one as a dance floor. So, a bit different than the couple that I've heard so far. But again, there's like 30 tracks in here, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of variety. As I said, I may do one or two more, but pretty soon, if not the next one, I'll listen to their cover of Human League's Don't You Want Me, because I am very curious about that. So once again, thank you to Herman for sending this, and it feels like it's a long time coming. Again, I've known that What's on Your Mind song since I was a kid, and I ended up recording it like on a mixtape from the radio. So to hear more of their work feels like something that should have happened earlier, and I'm happy to do it now. So let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.